These are the apple cider vinegar that I just made. This one is the one I bought. This is the brags that I bought, but all these other ones I made them. This is the apple of this is different from this. So the color you have at the end of it depends on the type of apple that you use. Every apple is permissible. So I had already started this one with I added apple cider vinegar with the mother as a starter in this one, but I found out that the question I keep getting asked is, what if I don't have an apple cider vinegar with the mother? Can I start my own like that? And the answer is yes. So this is what this one looks like. I stirred it yesterday, so it's not going to have the growth on top. This is what it looks like. What I do is every few days, it keeps coming above the liquid, I push it back in. I just push it back in. This one has been here for almost 2 weeks now, but I'm leaving it for 4 weeks before I sieve it. So I am using this apple is called Red Delicious. You can use any apple, but I prefer this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it up. Normally I just put in my food processor and I crush it, but I want to chop this one up. I have chopped it up as small as I possibly can. Then I left it out here for a few, I think like 1 hour or so. So I'm using this jar. So for this, normally when I make my cider, I use for every cup of water, I use a tablespoon of sugar. I use cane sugar, but you can use the white sugar. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be adding a starter. I'm adding extra sugar. So for each cup of water, I'll be adding 2 tablespoons of sugar. So we have 4 cups of water here. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's better to use filtered water, but if you don't have that, you can just use your water. So this is practically like 2 quarts. That is I would say about 2 liters of water in there. So I'm going to cover it. You need to cover it with something that that the fly cannot get into. You have to cover it very well, and then put it in your cupboard or put it in somewhere. Normally I put mine, this one, I put them in bags like this. I just put them in black bags like this. And then I put them in my kitchen. Put it in the warmest part of your house. So I just leave them in the kitchen, and I'll be stirring it every couple of days, maybe once a week or twice a week. But why we don't fill it to the top is it needs space to breathe. So after a while you're going to see your, I just stirred this one yesterday, so after a while you're going to see that it's going to come up above the water. So you have to give it space. It comes up even up to here, so it needs space to breathe. Anything, your kitchen napkin or anything, but just something to secure it so that the flies or insects cannot get through. When it starts fermenting, the bacteria are going to start feeding on the sugar. This is what it looks like. This is what we are looking for. This bubble is very, very important. And then you can see the bottom the way it is. But because this thing comes up, it rises up above the water, you have to stir every other day. Like I stir it maybe maybe twice a week. I push it all down. Normally, I know you're told you soak the apple for 2 weeks and then you sieve for 4 weeks. It depends. Like the one I did with the starter, I soaked it with the apple and the vinegar and the water for 4 weeks before I sieved. But because this one has no starter, for every time I stir it, I try to take a sniff, because when it starts becoming acidic, then I sieve the water. But if I take it out too early, it's not going to ferment properly. Using the cider as a starter helps it ferment faster. So because I don't have a starter for this one, I just follow my sense of smell. I just allow it to ferment. It's not going to go bad if it stays too long. But if it doesn't stay long enough, then it's not going to be good. So it's better it stays longer than you take it out too soon. Looks like this is like it's been here for about a month. So I'm going to sieve it. I can even perceive the aroma of the fermentation. I left it for a month because I didn't use a starter, but even the one I used the starter, I still left it for a month. So I need to sieve it out and wash the bottle and put back the liquid, and then I'll leave it again for about another month. I'm going to pour it back into my jar. What I do most times is I smell it. I don't just say you keep it for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks you sieve, and then you put it back for another 4 weeks. No, I tend to follow my sense of smell. Like this has been for about a month, but the smell of this one at this point in time with the one I used a starter for is not the same. This one is gonna take longer. Like my apple cider vinegar that I started without a starter, just apple cider and sugar. And whoa, man, that's strong. And I'm gonna filter it. This is the last stage. I could leave it for longer, it doesn't really matter, but the longer it stays, the better it becomes. Some people say you can do it for 6 to 8 weeks, but mine stayed longer. I think it stayed for about 3 months. I could leave it even for longer. It doesn't really matter. The longer you leave it, the more the mother grows on top. So I'm going to filter it now. So this is what I got from my apple cider, the one I started without the the mother that I started with just apple and sugar. And the ones I started with the mother, and this is all. But for now, I'm not going to like cover it very tight. I'm still going to allow it to breathe for some time. And then I have my apple cider vinegar. So I think for the rest of this year, I don't have to buy any. And maybe by the time I start running low, I can start another batch. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.